Good evening. I'm pleased to call to order the meeting of the Arlington School Committee for November 6th, 2025. Tonight's meeting is being conducted in person and through the use of Zoom. This meeting is being simultaneously broadcast on ACMi, and the meeting is being recorded because all members are present or will be present soon. Votes will be taken by voice unless a roll call is required. Persons wishing to access the meeting using Zoom may find information on how to do so on the town's website. The posted agenda and supporting materials for this meeting are also available on the town's website. Due to open meeting restrictions, the committee cannot participate in or access Zoom chat functions. While everyone is welcome to observe this meeting, active remote participation requires advance notice. All participants are asked to activate their camera and shall provide their full name in the interest of developing a record of the meeting. Liz Exton is going to arrive a little bit late because of a prior commitment. Before I begin our public comment, I want to welcome our new CFO. Chris Schweitzer is here. So Chris, welcome to the school committee table and into your new role as our chief financial officer. We are glad you're here. Thank you. Okay. So we'll move into public comment. Individuals or groups of representatives may address the committee on items of school business. The length of the public comment segment shall normally be no more than 20 minutes. Speakers must identify themselves by name and address and be allowed up to 3 minutes to present their material. I can reduce speaking time if needed and or may permit an extension if appropriate. Speakers may offer such objective criticisms of the school operation and programs as concern them, but in public session, the committee will not hear personal complaints about school personnel nor against any member of the school community except for the school committee or the superintendent. Under most circumstances, administrative channels are the proper means for disposition of legitimate complaints involving staff members. The public is reminded that the school committee does not hold jurisdiction over the performance of school personnel other than the superintendent of schools. First speaker is Dennis Grudkowski. Dennis, you want to go ahead? I know you're online. Dennis able to get?
He was there before.
He was just there.
Oh, can you hear me?
I sure can.
All right, here we go. Sorry about that.
All right, go ahead, Dennis.
Okay. Dennis Rakowski, 57 Wollaston Avenue. Number 2, I'm here to provide an update and feedback regarding the math pathways discussion that have been going on since last year, and comment about the summer 2025 pre-calculus assessment program. My oldest son is now in the 11th grade. He participates in extracurricular math programs as well as the music, art, foreign language activities. Toward the end of last school year and into the summer, my son worked with the math department to assess his pre-calculus abilities. Based on the demonstrated mastery, he was able to bypass the pre-calculus and is now enrolled in the calculus course appropriate for his ability. This opportunity extended to students like my son represents a positive step forward. After the first quarter, he has shown encouraging results. This placement may also allow him to take the Physics C, which is an AHS goal of his, if it's offered, which is a big win. We really appreciate that opportunity. When I ask him about his school days now, he's no longer says like fine or okay. Instead, he's saying things like pretty good, which is actually like a major improvement. That small change speaks volumes. He is being challenged and engaged in the subject he truly enjoys rather than feeling bored, which is also a huge win. Experience raises questions. Now that he's finally on the pathway that he sought 5 years ago, should he have been placed there all along? What about other students who were also not pushed forward? Are they still enthusiastic about math, or have they become disengaged? How many families have had to seek outside programs, or felt at least they had to, at additional cost, to support their children's learning desires? We need to ensure that all students have equitable opportunities to reach their potential within the APS system. I would be interested to know how many students applied for the pre-calculus assessment test. How many were successful, and how many, like my son, were initially not promoted into the bypass pathway, but now we're kind of on that path. It's great to have a chance to adjust things. Parents, educators, and administrators should remain engaged with these learning pathways and collaborate to address any gaps that they perceive. Periodic evaluation could help identify students performing below their capability, while teachers may not always have the tools to recognize this alone. With proper support, that could be achieved. Addressing this issue is essential to keeping our learners engaged in the public education system. We can't afford to let talented, motivated students become disillusioned and seek opportunities elsewhere. We shouldn't wait until 11th grade to reevaluate students from 6th grade. Let's keep finding ways to strengthen the pathways to be more flexible enough to suit students throughout the academic time at APS. APS needs every one of these talented and motivated students. We need all of the APS students to succeed. And that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Dennis. Next is Dmitry Basalev. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name.
Dmitry Vasilyev, 18 Cleveland Street. Dear school committee members, I would like to echo what Dennis just said about necessity of being flexible and meet our students where they are, and for kids who are advanced to provide necessary pathways of learning basically according to their pace. With that, I would like to draw attention to the Math Pathway Task Force, which was assembled, which is a good development on the surface, but it would benefit from greater transparency. And it was announced last spring by the Math Department, but unfortunately none of the members of our organization, Arlington Math Parents, was selected into this task force. We also know that this task force group members are instructed to never disclose that they were selected. The members of this task force are kept as a BCC in all communications, and they are forbidden to share any materials outside of a group. And they don't know any criteria used for selection of the members. There is definitely some lack of transparency in this process, and we would like to request that we know better, we would know a little bit better about selection criteria of the candidates, background of selected candidates, and meeting minutes to be published and be made public in the materials. This echoes the event a year ago where math administration refused to share students' graded tests, which made a lot of parents be very upset. Without transparency, this Math Pathway Task Force is just questionable, and especially disappointing is that we are the group of parents who expressed a concern about this process, and we are kind of left completely out without any say. And I would like to continue our discussion regarding low level of math at Arlington Public Schools as a whole. Now, out of my 3 kids, we now withdrawn 2 of our kids into a private school because they were bored and found math and science in Arlington Public Schools just too basic and rudimentary. In their private school, the level of math is not only significantly ahead with better teachers, but also flexible. The teachers try to meet the children where they are, and this private school's tuition is less than spending per pupil in Arlington Public Schools. But I would like to also say that I don't consider my children to be gifted in any way. They are just middle of the pack, and this is indicative that, like, we just, at least half the students would be in the same shoes as my kids. And we would need to address that kids, it's not okay for kids to be bored. It reflects in their mental health. It's important for them to be challenged. That's where they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dmitry. Thank you. The next speaker is Andrew Greenhut.
I had to bring my kids here. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Greenhut. I'm at 62 Rawson Road, Arlington. I came here to advocate on behalf of these 2 kids of mine who are not in Arlington Public Schools yet, but they're just 4 and 2. But I've spoken a lot with other members here in the Arlington Math Parents Group. And I just wanted to advocate for policies of, I guess, accelerated or differentiated learning for students. I don't know how my kids are gonna, what their needs are gonna be as they get older, but I just want to make sure that there is, schools that can meet their needs. A couple months ago in July, a bunch of parents in Arlington advocated on behalf of a couple of bills in the state legislature. There was H661, H622, and H621. And two of those were promoted to the House Ways and Means Committee in September, along with another one that was previously submitted. Please don't push that one. They're already learning. There's another bill that we just advocated on behalf of in October that's related to educator training, and another one coming up in November. And so I guess what I'm saying is that we're advocating on the state level for bills that will promote educator training, differentiated learning, and policy regarding the students' needs. But I just wanted to kind of let everyone know, but also advocate for the same in Arlington to be a leader in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That completes.
No.
Hi there.
They were trying to shut off your mic.
Public
That's the
comment.
kill switch.
Thank you very much. I just want to introduce our AEA representative, Erica Tonicello is here. Hi, Erica. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
All right, good to see you. And the student reps are not here. Are they here? No, I don't see them. Okay, well, maybe they'll come later on. Okay, so first item on the agenda is a presentation by Rochelle Rubino and her students on Empowering Citizens Conference.
All right. Our student reps from the high school aren't here, but we have some reps from Thompson here in their place. And they attended a conference recently that they would like to share some of their learning from with the school committee. So I'll let Principal Rubino maybe give a little context, or they can jump right in, whichever way, but they know to let me know if they need me to advance the slide.
Yes, I'm very excited to, we had about 28 student leaders who were, we had 28 student leaders from our student council and peer leaders who were able to attend the Empowering Citizens Conference. So they wanted to share a little bit of their learning as future leaders of all of us. So I'm going to turn it over to our students.
Hi, nice to meet y'all. My name's Tilly McGrath. So some of the topics that were covered, I think there was about 9 speakers who spoke at this conference. Some of them shared their life stories or how they got to where they are today. Some of them shared how us, minors, can be pillars in the community and what civic duty looks like. And one attorney actually shared on the electoral colleges.
So my name is Sophia Alexandra, and I'm doing a slide with the key takeaways. So these takeaways are a reminder that hard work pays off no matter where you started. Your past doesn't define your future, it's the effort and mindset that you put into it that does. If you want to see change, you've got to take the first steps and keep trying and reflect on your choices as you go on.
Hi, I'm Sona McEwen. I'm doing a slide on how we can apply what we learned at this conference to our everyday lives. So first is standing up for what you believe in, and you can do this in many ways, but here are a few. The first is voicing opinions, and you can do this at home, in school, or really anywhere in your community. The second thing is helping someone or something in your community that you feel really strongly about, and also making a difference, big or small, is very important. Another way is communication. So you can use communication by asking a peer or a teacher for help. This is helpful to further understand any topic you care about strongly. Asking questions is also quite essential to making a lasting impact on your community. Making connections can also help you broaden your perspective on something. And lastly, hard work pays off. One ways we can work hard is through putting in maximum effort. This is an essential life skill and is important for becoming better at a variety of things. Lastly, working hard is challenging, but it will be worth it in the end if you stick with it.
My name's Eliza Ninen, and I'm going to talk about how we were inspired by State Senator Lydia Edwards. She grew up as a C-ticket kid, meaning that for the lunches, there were kids who were like an A-ticket kid who would pay for the full lunch, and a B-ticket kid would pay a reduced price, and a C-ticket kid would pay like nothing. It was free. And we just thought we were really lucky to live in a town where everybody can get a free lunch if they want to. She went to law school and she got a good job working for a big law firm, but she got laid off. Then she worked for a nonprofit Brazilian foundation, and she was representing people who were working class. They worked jobs like housekeeping, but they weren't getting paid by their employers. Then she ran for state senator and lost, and even her friends were like, "Oh, don't run again. You'll lose all your political power and your respect." But she ran again and ended up winning, and she really inspired us because of the way she worked through everything that was thrown at her, and yeah. These are some of the photos of what the conference looked like.
And that's our group. So all the people who went, right down the street.
Great. That was a great presentation. I know you worked hard on it. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a question? Okay, you go first.
What is something that you learned about being involved in your community, or that you think you might take and apply in Arlington or at Addison?
One thing that I thought was really cool was the district attorney was talking about maybe reading a book from somebody else's political view. And I thought that was really cool because we mainly see these people have different political views, and I thought that was really nice because she thought you should listen to different political views, to review our views, and just to see the people as a person and not just as their opposite political views. Which I thought was really nice.
That's a great example.
Also, just adding on, what a lot of the speakers kept bringing up was just staying informed in your community, especially on topics you care a lot about, which is a super important way to learn more about your town, your community, and whatever it is.
Another thing that one of the speakers, Richard Haas, mentioned was that even though we can't vote, we can still do other things to support things we believe in, like going to protest and raising awareness for things that we really think are important.
So my question is, what prompted you to try to apply for this program, to participate in this program?
Well, probably me, right?
Okay. The principal.
They might not know. We found out information, actually, Dr. Holman had shared information about the Empowering Citizens Conference. So I shared it with our teachers who run our student council and peer leaders, and they were able to get a group of students who were interested in joining us. And it happened during the school day, so we were able to have a special field trip for our student leaders.
Great. And how many students this is the 4 that went from Addison?
We had actually 28 people.
Okay,
so
so it looks like
all
the
of this
picture.
picture.
Yeah, that's the picture. Yeah, 28 people.
Yeah, we had 28 students who attended.
But you were the leaders of the leaders.
They're the brave ones who decided to come to school committee and talk about it.
That's the leaders of the leaders. You're going to talk to the school committee. That's right. All right.
For context, this is something that the district attorney's office does on a somewhat annual basis and will let us know about. And I think we've typically sent a couple of students from student government at the high school. We've not had a student government as involved, interested at Ottoson and going as we did this year, and they sent a whole big cohort of students. So it's exciting to have that many students go from Ottoson. You all will have an opportunity to put all of what you learned to practice when you do your civics projects later this year. So hang on to some of that knowledge. And it was an opportunity to have them come and share that they were able to participate in this. So gratitude to the district attorney's office, because I've heard it's a great program with awesome speakers.
Great. And I know Senator Edwards fairly well, so glad you guys got to meet her. She's impressive. All right. Thank you so
all.
much for coming. Appreciate your time.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Great job as always. All right. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is Mr. Spiegel is giving a report on human resources staffing.
Thank you, to the school committee, for this opportunity. So I want to start with the staffing update and just thank Kelly Piggott from my office, the Assistant Director of HR, and Nora Manna, our data specialist, for really helping with a lot of the data on the slides. So as we know, we talk about our vision and mission in everything we do. We're grounded. We really want to ensure that all learners, including all adults in the schools, feel a sense of belonging and experience growth and joy. And we strive to value the identities of all educators and students. We're going to talk about the strategic plan and some of the strategic plan initiatives, staff demographic data, an overview of new hires, and an overview of some exits and reasons for departures, and talk a little bit about vacancies. So the HR department is, in the strategic plan, we focus on strategic priority 2, valuing all staff. The Arlington Public Schools will recruit and retain an excellent and diverse workforce by creating a collaborative and supportive culture for all staff, providing high quality and relevant professional development, expanding leadership opportunities and shared decision-making, and prioritizing representation, diverse perspectives, and expertise. So some of the initiatives we're working on under Strategic Priority 2, I just want to discuss them. So led by the Department of Excellence, Access, and Opportunity in conjunction with HR, we work collaboratively together on several projects. We received the Teacher Diversification Grant from DESE and used the funds to provide MTEL prep classes for paraprofessionals and others looking to become licensed educators. Specifically want to thank Dr. Margaret Creedle-Thomas, who really led the effort to get the grant from DESE, and Margaret and Katie Hodgkins for leading the MTEL preparation courses that we provided through that grant. We have a relatively new partnership with Regis College for discounted tuition for some programs, which we've been advertising to our staff, and we continue to look for those kinds of programs from Regis and other colleges for opportunities for staff to get, if they're interested, to enter either complete bachelor's degrees or master's degrees, and we frequently share information about opportunities. We are continuing our membership in the Massachusetts Partnership for Diversity in Education. We've been longtime members. Again, to shout out Dr. Creedle-Thomas, she is the president of the MPDE now. And we have my team, the HR team. I just want to recognize Kelly Piggott again, the assistant director, and Joe Gratton, our HR specialist. We've been scheduling office hours at the schools, trying to give faculty and staff, for us going to them rather than them coming to us. Sort of gives us an opportunity to get out and see people in the schools. We had a networking event in the spring. We've done this a few times. A very successful event on a Saturday in April. We had a lot of people interested in Arlington and coming to visit. Specifically, we've hired 5 people as new hires this year who were at that event. So it was successful that we were able to, people were interested in Arlington and came out for that. Again, we continue to promote pathways for students and paraprofessionals and others in the schools to become teachers if they're interested in doing that, better advertise and promote the benefits that educators have in Arlington, even beyond salary. And we are always working on our onboarding and in creating opportunities for staff to make connections. A lot of that happens in the schools, and the staff do that in the schools. We have a lot of leaders there who do that. We also have, competitive compensation is part of that, and we have contracts now. We will bring the last MOA, I think, in the next meeting. And last year, we negotiated 6 of the 7 contracts with our bargaining units. And so I want to thank, obviously, the school committee, who was very involved in the union negotiations, Dr. Homan and others on our district administrative team and building leadership, our outside counsel, of course, who worked with us on the school committee team. I also want to recognize our union partners, because we have very positive relationships with the AEA and the AAA and Local 680, and we had very collaborative negotiations with all units this past year. And I think we kind of see the result of that in our new agreements.
I'll just add before I advance the slide that Mr. Spiegel's being humble. We had the highest participation we've ever seen at that Saturday Coffee networking event this past spring. It was packed.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a successful event and has gotten more traction each year as we've invited more folks to it. So well done.
Thank you. And I think we are going to plan one again for this spring. So go to some of our data to look at our retention data. So this is the most recent data on the DESE website that we are at. For teachers, 88.7% retained, which is above the state percentage. You can see prior year retention data. We've gone up a little bit this year, which is good, and we've been in that 85 to 86, now a little over 88% for our retention. Looking at the demographic data of our staff, if we look at all employees, it doesn't include all employees because there are some that we didn't include in this, including substitutes and community ed and coaches, but you can see the demographic data of the group where people identify ethnically in the Asian, Black, Hispanic, Native American, 2 or more races, and white, and some who did not identify. I've spoken of this before, but the non-identification is an affirmative thing that someone has to do. We cannot require someone to self-identify. However, it is a form in our onboarding process that has to be filled out. So it is an affirmative thing. That it's not, people aren't forgetting to fill out the form. They have to fill out the form, but they don't necessarily have to identify in the form. So you can see the numbers there for all employees. The next, specifically looking at Unit A for AEA, which is teachers, specialists, related service providers. You can see the numbers have fluctuated a little bit in the past couple of years, and I will explain that more in a future slide. You can see in some of our racial demographics, there's been a little bit of a drop in percentage of staff. So we can go to the next one. And comparing student and staff demographics with our, again, Unit A staff, our Unit D, our paraprofessionals, and our AAA administrators, you can see that we do have a higher percentage of staff of color, especially in our Asian and our Black or African American staff in the Unit D paraprofessional ranks. And that's kind of also ties back to our initiatives that we've had for MTEL Prep and making information available and partnerships about educator preparation programs. Because I think, I'll get to this as well, but I think our long-term goal is to increase the diversity of our staff. We can go, the next 3 slides are more, show the data and a different representation for Hispanic staff and students in different bargaining groups. African American is the next one, and then Asian. So you can see that representation. Some of the takeaways from this, so as we review the staffing data from the past year, I just want to acknowledge that while increasing the number of educators of color in the district remains a key priority, we've seen a pause in that trend a little bit. In demographics that have less representation among staff, a small number of people who turn over can have a noticeable impact on those percentages. And as I said, we're investing in long-term strategies such as those partnerships and diversification grant initiatives and MTEL prep and promoting pathways. There's a range of factors, I think, in education in general that may contribute to this trend in workforce dynamics. We're not seeing pools with enough diversity. There are factors including underrepresentation in educator preparation programs, the end of the emergency licensure initiatives, and other factors. The DESE has changed the name of the grant that they're issuing this year. We've applied for, again, thanks to Margaret, the Transforming Diverse Educator Pathways grants. If we are awarded that grant, and I don't know when we'll know about that, we would use some of that to look at our hiring practices, work with a consultant on some PD, and someone named Keith Lizama who works with historically Black colleges and universities to have more partnerships there, and again do more PD. If we look at the onboarding and retention, so one of the things I want to say about the onboarding and retention, I think this may have been mentioned earlier in the year, at the beginning of the year after new teacher orientation and so much stuff happens at the beginning of the year. It's a team process. I mean, the whole district, I think almost every department is involved in making sure that new staff have what they need when they are onboarded. Includes all of the hiring committees, central office staff, payroll, and business office, and special ed offices and HR, our curriculum directors, special ed coordinators, academic coaches, orientation leaders who provide the training. Administrative assistants at the schools and in our departments are key in making sure people feel welcome in their buildings. Our food service, transportation, IT department is a key in making sure people have the technology they need. So I just want to recognize the whole district is really involved when someone is hired in the district. You can look at the new hires from just the past, from 7/1 to 9/30, the demographic data there. That's all new hires. We look specifically at Unit A. I just want to talk a little bit about the Unit A people. We've had 80 new people who started in positions since August, and they replaced people who either retired, resigned, moved from one position to another position in the district. We have some educators on full year leaves of absence, and they've replaced them. Some replaced new positions in the budget or added because of needs. And I would note also that we also had efficiencies in the budget from the past year, so that's not a net, but the people replaced are filling new positions. Also, continuing our trend, and going back to the goals we've talked about before, we've hired people who have been teaching assistants or student teachers or substitutes. That continues every year. It's a very well-educated workforce. 70 have at least a master's degree. And one thing I find really interesting is that 6 of the people we've hired this year have returned to Arlington after leaving. They worked here before, they left for various reasons, and they have come back. And that, I think, says a lot about Arlington. We also hired some educators last year who started between October and May of the last school year. We also have some new administrators you met earlier in the fall. We have new teaching assistants, SSPs, building subs, and tutors in the Unit D bargaining unit, and we also had some who started last year as we were continuing to fill positions throughout the year last year. We have a new administrative assistant at the high school who replaced someone who retired, and we also have people in other departments. Of course, many new hires in food service, after-school daycare, We have a new traffic supervisor. So going on to employee exits and departures. So I do exit interviews. I send a Google form to the people who leave. I also offer people the opportunity to meet with me. If we look at some of the reasons, and not everyone agrees or fills out the form, but many do. We look at the reasons for the people leaving. The most common reasons include relocation or moving. Relocation outside of Massachusetts is common, or far enough within Massachusetts, far enough away that it's really outside of the general Boston area. Quite a few move for professional reasons. We have had people become administrators in other districts, going from a Unit A position to an administrative position in another district. We have some retirements, a few people who said they left because they can make more money elsewhere. I think we've addressed some of that in our contracts, but it's a reality that some people can make more money in other positions. A few people expressed dissatisfaction with their jobs, and it's, again, something we are working on in the strategic plan, whether the dissatisfaction was related to workload or other factors. And then, commute or career changes were also factors for some people. Looking at our current vacancies, we have a team chair position at Pierce and Audison. We do have a substitute, a retiree who is subbing and giving us, providing some of those services now. So we're not going without special ed team chair services, but we are still looking to fill that position in a permanent basis. We have a special ed teacher position at the high school, an SSP at the high school, which I think is just about to be filled. An elementary teaching assistant, which I think is at Hardy. A music teacher, .2 music teacher at Menotomy Preschool. A traffic supervisor, and a couple IT positions, and an electrician in the facilities department. I will note this is the lowest level of vacancies we've had in several years. I mean, I think since before the pandemic. In the past couple of years, we were still looking for a lot of positions. I think we're really in much better shape this year and there's many factors that contribute to that. That's it.
Questions from Mr. Spiegel? Dr. Allison-Ampe?
Hi. In the past, the coffee has been an attempt to help us hire more diverse staff, and is it still achieving that goal? I don't quite understand how it's working with the invitations and stuff and who's ending up coming and stuff.
So we shifted slightly more recently to make it clear that we're looking for and value a diverse workforce, and we do target the advertisement of that event accordingly to try to attract a diverse pool of educators who are interested in working here. We don't restrict it, as I think we had in the past when we had held it. We had made it for educators of color prior. We don't do that in the same way anymore, but we are targeted about who we send the invite to. I'd have to find out who the folks are who we hired from it to know.
Yeah, most of them are not probably from educators of color, but we did. So this happens after the MPDE job fair, and I invited everyone at the MPDE job fair. Notably, the MPDE job fair is specifically diversity in education. It is targeted at educators of color, but it doesn't restrict attendance either. And many people from a lot of different backgrounds go to the MPDE job fair. So, we're not restricting our attendance. It is a goal, and that is the hope.
We're also continuing to do bias training with committees, particularly for any role in the central office or administrative or leadership position, but the principals also have that deck, and they try when they put a committee together. It kind of depends on where they are in the hiring season and how big of a committee they're going to have, but they'll do some bias training and how bias shows up in hiring with a committee. We do performance tasks because that can mitigate for some bias in hiring too, in an attempt to make sure that the process that people go through people are thinking about making sure that we have cultural adds to the system, not just people who fit with what we already are, but people who are bringing new perspectives and ideas and skills into the system. So hopefully that has an impact too. The schools of education are struggling across the state and across the country at the moment. And I think some of it's easy to not really notice how big of an impact things like emergency licensure had on the diversity of the educator workforce, because it opened that opportunity up for people who were interested in it, gave them the opportunity to do the work and try in a space where they might not have otherwise had that. And so we've gotten a lot of educators into the system through those emergency licenses, and that isn't available as like now. So we don't have folks who are entering through that mechanism. And I know the state's aware of that, and they've been thinking about how to make sure that teachers are highly qualified and licensed and have this content knowledge, but also provide that opportunity, because the MTEL and other collegiate mechanisms that people have to do often produce barriers that make it difficult for folks to become teachers. So the paraprofessional pathways, the opportunities to get the licensure through us is a major strategy towards improving that, the diversification of the teacher workforce.
Thank you.
Anyone else? My question, do we have any vacancies at this time that you're trying to fill?
Just the ones he listed.
I mentioned that. So if anyone, we have a team chair vacancy, which I said we are covered right now with a sub.
Yeah.
But we still want to hire someone in, regular.
This is your chance to, okay, yeah.
Yeah. We have a special ed teacher at the high school. There was, one sort of later resignation in the summer, and so it's been hard to fill that position. We did hire several new special ed teachers at the high school this year, but we have one that we haven't filled. The traffic supervisor, we are talking to new people.
We need multiple, don't we?
We need one permanent regular traffic supervisor. We need some subs. We actually have some subs now, and I've been able to, we're talking to more people for subbing. And then we are interviewing for the director of IT operations position right now. And I think I'm not sure where they are on the electrician. I know it's been challenging. They have hired other people in facilities recently, a new HVAC technician and some others. But I know some of those positions have been hard to fill the last few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have a large audience, so I wanted to make sure that the ACMi audience. Okay, anything else on this? Thank you. The next thing is a discussion of the digital legal notices. I do not have a memo from, do you have anything, Mr. Schlickman?
I don't have a memo. All I have is the vote from the select board.
I have that. Do you want to speak to this?
Okay, so we had, let me just find the, so we passed a home rule petition from town meeting.
Right.
To, currently we're required, like all municipalities, is to publish legal notices in a newspaper. And with the deterioration of the local newspapers, this is very expensive for something we're not getting much bang for. The legislature did pass the home rule request and enacted into law a provision where we can declare two methods for publication of our required legal notices. This would include, the big one that I think of is the notice of public hearing for the budget hearing. There are a couple of other things we're required to do. The select board on the 20th of October passed a motion to designate a website of news and importance, which would be your Arlington, and the town website as being the venues for publishing legal notices. And it was mentioned at that meeting that the school committee does have the option of passing the same motion. So we'll just take this right now as...
you want to use the same language?
Yeah, let me go find the language here. because I had it up and I lost it. I know where it is. Hold on. Okay, the motion that the Select Board made was a motion to designate a website reporting local news and opinion that satisfies all criteria for digital publication established in subsection C of said section 13 of said chapter 4, and a townwide website that may be maintained as a repository for such notices for the publication of legal notices.
Mr. Schlick made the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Do we need to communicate this outside of this vote?
I think that, well, it'll be in our minutes, but I think we should also notify the town,
Notify the,
notify the town manager.
okay, we don't need a motion for that, do we? or-
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so
All we
just-
have to do is send notice.
yeah.
that-
So,
and probably the town clerk as well, but I'll provide Ms. Diggins the language of the
Okay.
motion.
okay, great, okay, thank you. Next item is the second reading and possible vote file, JJE. Mr. Schlickman.
JJE was just a technical correction and to align the policy with new state regulations. We did that first read last time. I move adoption of JJE as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I so declare. Okay, second reading and possible vote file, FF, policy for special dedication of school facilities.
Okay, so we presented this for first read. At the last meeting, there were suggestions that we needed to change the language, so I wrote up a change and included it in Novus for the review of the members of the committee. So what we would seek to do right now is to adopt FF as amended and to delete FFA, which is the temporary policy for naming high school spaces.
Okay, discussion? Ms. Exton, you wrote.
A second?
Okay, I'm sorry, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Exton. Ms. Exton, you raised questions last time about making sure that this went back to the school committee. You satisfied with the change?
I am, thank you.
Okay. Okay, any more discussion? So the one change, just to refresh everyone's memory, I'm not sure if everyone's here, but was to make sure that a recommendation comes to this body before it goes to the town.
Yeah, it was clarifying the work order,
Yeah.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah, right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous. Okay, moving right along. Scheduling November 18th, school committee meeting. So we adopted a calendar, and we did not have a meeting scheduled for the week of the 17th. There's a number of school conferences, so it looks like the 18th works for folks. But I guess we'll find out by talking here. So the motion, can someone make the motion? It's in the motion is moved to schedule a school committee meeting at 6:30 PM on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Someone make- Motion by Dr. Allison Ampe, second by
Second.
Ms. Gittleson, thank you, not Exton, the other one. Okay. Ms. Gittleson, it's been a long day. Any discussion on this? This works for everybody? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous.
I'm going to abstain.
You're abstaining? Okay, thank you. Okay, so next we're going to take a motion, we're going to take a vote to begin the process to fill an unexpired term on the school committee. So as we know, we have a vacancy. Attached to the Novus agenda is a notification that Ms. Diggins is going to put out publicly tomorrow morning, once we go through this process. So the motion, I can read the motion that we drafted. Motion to approve the following process for filling a vacancy on the Arlington School Committee per policy BBBE. Move the Arlington School Committee commences the process described in policy BBBE to fill the vacant position on the committee and move further that the school committee directs the chair to ensure the opening is posted starting Friday, November 7th, 2025, for a minimum of 1 week per the Town Managers Act. Require applicants to submit a statement of the candidate's reasons for serving on the committee, a resume, and any other information the candidate wishes to present regarding their interest in serving on the committee to the executive assistant of the superintendent's office, Ms. Diggins, by Friday, November 14th at 5 p.m. Ensure that all candidates are invited to an open meeting to be held on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. to make a case for their appointment and ensure the appearance of candidates by lot and other requirements of policy BBE are adhered to. That's the motion that we put together. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Dr. Allison Ampe.
I'm confused because I don't know if I saw that part, I mean, what you've been reading. Basically, what I wanted to point out was that the vacancy announcement doesn't say anything about that the candidates will then need to come to a meeting and, or at least the one that I downloaded it, when I downloaded it.
Oh, the announcement that's in the attachment to the minutes?
It says ensure that all candidates are invited to open meeting to be held on Tuesday, November 18th. That's not on what you're?
I'm looking at the vacancy announcement.
Oh.
The actual, well, we should make sure that's correct.
What is, I thought what was going to be published does not say anything about the meeting that they need to attend.
Oh.
And it should, right?
Yeah, right, it should, I thought it did, okay.
And also what they should expect, you know, that they should attend and be prepared to discuss whatever. And I mean, maybe I missed what you just read, but I didn't see it in Novus. If it was supposed to be there.
Oh, okay.
So I move that the vacancy announcement be amended to include that all candidates are invited to attend an open meeting to be held on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. to make their case for their appointment.
Okay, thank you. So that amends the main motion? That amends the main motion? Go ahead,
So that
Ms.
one more
Gittleson.
thing, I just was looking at the date.
Yeah.
I think given the date selected for the townwide election, April 5th is probably not the right date
Yeah.
for when it
Oh.
expires.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a week earlier
So
in
it should
March.
be March 29th.
Okay, March 29th, and that should be 2026. Okay. All right, got it. Thank you for correcting that. All right, we will get that corrected, and we'll add this, Ms. Diggins, you have the sentence that Mr. Carden just read?
It's from the
It's from the policy, yeah.
policy.
Okay, so let's simplify this. Candidates are gonna get their resume, cover letter, a resume and letter for reasons why they're interested in the position to Ms. Diggins. Her email will be on the posting by Friday, November 14th, and all the candidates will be invited to the school committee meeting at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the 18th of November, 6:30 p.m. right here in this room.
I just want to understand when you say to make a case for their appointment, are we going to have a chance to ask questions
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, we'll ask
I
questions.
think the policy says questions. doesn't
Okay,
it?
I'm just,
I'm not sure.
I thought, maybe not. Where'd it go?
All candidates for membership,
And each member of the school committee may ask the candidate
Yeah.
a question.
yeah, so I think we're just going to follow the policy.
right, it's just, so we've kind of got two different things. One is the policy, what the policy says, and then this other is what is written in Novus.
It's going out to the
So
community.
it's
Isn't
just,
the policy
It's attached to it, though.
attached to it?
yeah, but there's also what the motion is, and the motion language is different than what the policy says. That's, the motion, what Len was saying about make a case for isn't part of the policy.
Okay, we can correct the language. We can make an administrative change on the, you're talking about just the posting, what's going to go on the posting to the public?
Yeah,
We can make,
I'm just trying to be consistent.
Yeah, we'll be consistent. I'll work with Ms. Diggins on making sure it's consistent with the policy. Okay, any other commentary, questions? Everybody's all set? All those in favor say aye.
What are we voting on? Mr.
I'm sorry, we're voting
Cardin's
on
amendment?
We're voting first on Mr. Cardin's amendment. So we're voting first on Mr. Cardin's amendment, amending the announcement which is attached to the motion. So all those in favor of Mr. Cardin's amendment?
Yes.
Yes. All opposed? Mr. Cardin has amended now with the motion as amended, with Mr. Cardin's amendment, any discussion? Any further discussion? Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous. Okay, I'll work with Ms. Diggins to make sure this is very, very clear to people tomorrow, and we'll get this out tomorrow morning. Okay, the next is to update the subcommittee and committee liaison assignments. So the motion's right there. We're moving to add the following members to subcommittee and town committee meetings: Budget Subcommittee, Mr. Cardin; Long Range Planning Committee, Ms. Gittleson; and the Facilities Subcommittee Chair. I will go back to doing that for the next 4 months. Because why not?
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 The ayes have it, it's unanimous. That motion carries. Okay, moving right along. We're ahead of schedule. Well, yeah. Okay, budget calendar and process, Dr. Holman. Budget calendar and process, Dr. Holman, go ahead.
I'm going to share my screen. So I'd like to echo Mr. Thielman's welcome to Mr. Schweitzer, who joined us as Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations this week, and really got thrown right into the middle of everything very quickly, because we launched the budget process this week with administration. So the crash course is ongoing, and if you have anything to add, don't hesitate to jump in, but I'll share a little bit about the process, understanding that he'll be doing that in the future. So first, we have a draft calendar that we are adding to as we go, and we'll post to the website, but we wanted the committee to see first our plan for the year and the deadlines and timelines for presentation of the budget. Obviously, a lot of the internal stuff starts to happen around now as we do the build, and then as we head into the new calendar year, 2026, in the spring, there are a lot of items that are more publicly facing. We know that this year we're going to want to do some community engagement, so there are some forum dates included that are tentative. We're still trying to work on when exactly those will happen. And we've sketched in some finance report dates and some of the subcommittee meetings that we know have already happened or planned to happen. Dr. Allison, is there anything you want to add to the calendar piece? Okay. If there's anything that's missing or that you'd like us to include, please let myself and Dr. Allison Ampey know, and we'll make sure that we get it in here and post an updated version to the website. Also in your materials is the kickoff memo that goes to APS budget managers. They get a memo like this every year, and we hold a meeting to get the budget process started and for us to let everybody who manages one of our budgets, one of the sub-departments in the school system, they're called sub-departments in Munis, know what it is that is expected of their proposals and how to submit them. We're doing things a little bit differently this year under the circumstances, knowing that we're still waiting on a date for when we might hold an override vote and for a plan for FY27 and 28 and when exactly those override dollars would be required. So with that context in mind, we've established a few priorities to help guide our internal folks in developing their plans for FY27. Those include centering our budget decisions around our values, making sure that we're building out some equitable budget building practices. We've done a lot of data cleanup. We've done a lot of structural cleanup with the new chart of accounts and making sure that our accounts reflect the purpose of those funds as we report them to DESE at the end of the year. And that has allowed us to put some focus on building some equitable budget building practices and developing some funding formulas this year, which we're really excited about. We are also prioritizing gathering input across stakeholder groups to help us know kind of what is core and what has helped us be successful. The great thing about that is that we have some results in some of our outcomes, and we have some places where we've seen absenteeism go down, and we can follow some of those successes to find out what resources are supporting that work and try to prioritize and protect those resources. And of course, we're focusing on establishing some long-term sustainability for both staffing and operational costs, understanding that we're paying more with our new bargaining agreements, and we want to be able to sustain that and also make sure that we can afford everything else that we need. So we do go through some of the language that folks who are not finance people need to understand about how municipal finances work in the memo. We emphasize some of the values that we've been working from over the past couple of years with teams so that this is a collaborative process. We were very explicit about the difference between level funding and level service and the understanding that we're kind of building around a couple of different scenarios. And so right now, our plan is to build level funding, but to articulate what level service is and would require. And so that will help us have a couple different scenarios that the committee can weigh and options that they can look at. We're also asking, I'm going to scroll down here to their instructions. So what they will do is they will articulate to us what level service would require. So for us to give everybody all of the same services that we have in the budget now, what would that cost? And they're doing that with operating costs and stipend costs. They're not doing that with salaries because we can do that for them with salaries because we know what the inflation would be on that per the contracts. Then we're asking them to send us model staffing and allocation model proposals. What we don't want to do is ask our leaders to sort of act in a silo when we're trying to think about how to use our resources as efficiently as possible. We want them to think more holistically and think about our options for changing how we're organized, or what would be required in order for us to challenge some of our assumptions. So they're going to be thinking about that in workshops over the next several weeks. They will submit collaborative proposals, and they'll be thinking about positions, not people, because we build a budget around the positions that we need to serve the kids, and then we make sure that we can take care of all of our folks and put them in the right spot for their expertise once we've articulated what that model is going to be. So that's the approach that we're taking. You can go over the instructions that we gave leaders in the memo, send me any questions that you might have. I wanted to make sure that you saw how we were going about this because it will have implications for what we present to the committee over the next couple of months. And it will be a little different in that they're not proposing sort of individual positions. We've made it very clear that sort of our best case scenario is that we're holding steady with the resources that we have, understanding that we need to make sure that we're operating as efficiently as we possibly can. Hopefully that gets us started with some clarity about what's coming and what the dates will be, and I'm happy to take any questions. Or anything to add?
Mr. Carden?
Did you have anything to add?
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just a quick moment. Don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but I think just first coming in this first week, came in with a fabulous foundation with the work that the superintendent had already done and her team, Tam Tran, the director of finance, so being able to come into the team right here at the beginning of the kickoff, I'm really inspired, empowered by how collaborative this budget process will be, how it already has been. This is the most collaborative and, empowering budget process that I've been a part of. So I look forward to working with the committee and the leaders of the district here over the next couple months.
Welcome. Mr. Carden?
Thank you. So I just wanted to back up a minute to give a little bit more context to, the situation that the town is facing for fiscal year 27. It was only in November of 23 that we did the last override vote, so it seems recent, but it was a 3-year plan, and that ends at the end of June this year. So, so the 3-year plan goes through fiscal year 26, which is what we're in. And the way that we do overrides in Arlington is we sort of ask for a big chunk, and then we get extra money to set in the bank. So first year money goes into the bank, Second year is sort of like we spend what we take in, and in the third year, we empty the bank from what we had put in on the first year. We sort of do these 3-year plans that way. This year, we're emptying the bank, and we have to refill it with an override, otherwise we face the prospect of not being able to increase our funding at all. So I just wanted to give that background in case anybody's watching it. And also, I think for our communications going forward, both internally and externally, not everybody has that picture, so let's just make sure we paint that picture as well. It's not unexpected that we're facing this.
And I'm happy to wait in part, and I think that's some of the thinking that we had around forums for the community to sort of explain this in a little bit more granular detail too. And I'm happy to provide some of that framing. We've done a lot of it with the administration. So, you know, we explain kind of what that dynamic is, how the town goes about deciding on a number, and, you know, what our process will be internally moving forward. So we have the materials and we can pull that forward into a forum for everyone and are happy to answer questions.
Anybody want to make a comment? Any questions? Mr. Schlickman?
I know the select board is debating the date of the override. And Ms. Morgan has made an effective argument that it should be the earliest possible date. But I just want to reiterate that if we delay the override vote to June, if we don't take advantage of the earliest opportunity, which would be the town election in March, we will lose staff. People will look at this nervously, and you will have resumes and photocopiers. And the problem is even if we do pass the override, we will have vacancies that we will not know about until June, and the hiring pool after June becomes much thinner because the quality candidates that we're looking for, that we now traditionally go look for, we're looking for them early in the spring, and we're doing hiring as quickly as possible to nail down the best possible candidates and to leave a bulk of openings to June and to exasperate those openings by having an aura of uncertainty over the district would be a disservice. So I would just, from my little viewpoint here, urge the select board to choose the earliest possible date for this override.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else want to speak? We normally don't. Well, we could. There could be a motion, we could support it, urging the select board to do this, I guess, but we don't do that. I don't know if anyone wants to speak to this, but I think it's important for members to say what they think about on this point. Are you urging the long-range planning committee representatives of the school committee to push for this?
I think that the members of the long-range planning committee from the school committee are aware of the issue, and I don't think we need to pass a motion to urge this, but I think that I certainly wanted to make my position clear, and I think that there are others at this table who share it.
I think we must. Yeah, Dr. Alisampi, go ahead.
I think it doesn't hurt for everyone to contact their favorite select board members and discuss the matter with them personally.
Okay, good advice. Anything else on this? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move right along. Next is the superintendent's update.
I just want to remind everyone that there's no school for students on Monday, November 10th, because we have educator PD that day. We do not have an election in Arlington on election day, so we didn't have our PD this past week. We're holding it next week on Monday. And there's no school on Tuesday, November 11th for Veterans Day. For Educator Professional Learning Day, we're focused on deeper learning and inclusive classrooms. We will be doing a sort of Ed Camp unconference style morning and give everybody an opportunity to learn from one another about small strategies that have had a big impact in their classes, collaborate around topics of interest or curriculum topics of interest, and then in the afternoon, educators will be meeting with departments and grade levels for some curriculum and content-focused learning time. A number of them will stay here at the high school. A few folks will go back to their schools. We received $150,000 in the last couple of weeks in state earmarks. These are funding, I've talked about them a couple of times, but the funds came through, and we are working on making sure that we can put them towards the projects they were appropriated for. They're going towards the Thompson elevator replacement and classroom projectors, $100,000 towards the elevator and $50,000 towards supporting some of the AV work that we've been doing from capital funds, but we had depleted this year's capital allotment for that before we were done. So it's great that we have another $50,000 that we can spend on that. Last week, the Massachusetts School Building Authority accepted Hardy School into what is the first year of their new heat pump and electrification accelerated repair program. Our next steps include establishing a funding plan for the schematic design and eventually for the construction of the overall project in collaboration with the town. The good news is we got a little more time to think about what our funding mechanism would be for the initial phases, which could probably be funded through capital, and we need to establish that plan by September 29th of 2026, so we have a little more time than we never know when they're going to sort of track you along their timeline. They have a few different times that they can set you up for your funding authorization, and ours is a little bit later. So we have to be within 90 days of, I believe, July 1st of 2026, and so we need to have that figured out by September 29th and inform the MSBA. But it's exciting that we were accepted into that program. This is something the Capital Planning Committee had asked once they had reviewed some of the electrification roadmaps that the town has been working on. They had asked whether we could use ARP to help out with some of the costs of projects that were consistently coming to capital. So we've done that and are excited to consider this possibility in collaboration with our town colleagues. We have a number of things going on that are intended to support families who might be struggling during the government shutdown or due to loss of benefits. So I just want to name a few of the things that are going on pertaining to that, because we've gotten a lot of outreach from community members who are interested in helping out with any community members who might need some additional support. There will be a Metco Day of Service on Saturday, November 15th, and folks can email our Metco Director, Rochelle Smith, for more information and the sign-up link if they are interested in joining for that. It will be in Boston next Saturday. We're having a PTO supply drive. The PTO leaders from all of our schools are working with the Welcome Center to help coordinate a district-wide donation drive. The schools will have a selected or designated category of clothing or personal care items that they're collecting, and then those are coming to a central location, the Welcome Center, to be distributed to any families who need it. We're also doing some food resource collaboration, and we issued a district-wide communication to all families addressing anybody who might be impacted by the SNAP benefit halt that happened this past weekend. We've been working very closely with Arlington Eats and been monitoring the APS Family Support Request Form. So if anybody needs anything, or if you hear about a family who might need something, anybody can fill out that request form, or they can reach out to their schools and we'll put them in contact with somebody who can help out. We're also doing a winter coat distribution event on the 25th of November from 1 to 6 p.m. If anybody needs winter gear, we have a lot of it, and we are also still taking donations for winter gear. We all know, anybody who has kids knows that they outgrow the coats in like 5 minutes, and also the boots. So we have not very worn winter gear, and if anybody needs access to that, please let them know that we're doing the distribution event on Tuesday the 25th. We also have a rollout of Parent Square family communication applications coming, and we're going to do that school by school because we want to make sure that we do the training with the teachers before we do the rollout of the application. This is going to replace School Messenger over the course of this year and will be our go-to communication tool following this school year. Thompson and Stratton are entering the pilots for this tool now, and then other schools are going to follow. It's a very easy app to use for educators and for parents. It makes two-way communication a lot easier, and it puts everything in a feed for the family. So you can see, for if you have students at multiple schools, it'll all go kind of into one place, and it'll be a lot easier to find whatever it is you're looking for, to search for a communication that happened but aren't sure exactly when, so you don't have to go sorting through your email. So those are updates on things we're working on when it comes to communication and support for families. We also have an exciting performance of the fall play. Museum will be this coming weekend and the next weekend, November 14th through 16th and 21st through 22nd. It's the first performance in the Black Box Theater, and tickets are on sale now. And performances they're anticipating are going to sell out due to limited seating, so they're encouraging folks to pick up tickets as soon as they can. We've also launched the budget development process, which we just spoke about. And there are a few updates in the enrollments in your materials. We did submit our October 1 data, so the October 1 numbers in your materials are final. We have an initial projection report from Sanborn that is also included in your materials. I'm interested in the committee's input or feedback once you have a chance to look over that as to whether you'd like us to report out on that in a subcommittee meeting or at a regular school committee meeting, or invite our partners at some point to report. But what I would suggest, if we were going to invite Sanborn to join us, is that we wait, because we're having them do some more granular projections that will integrate some GIS and address data. That's currently in progress. They're just working on getting the needed information and data from our team so that they can do a little bit more granular analysis, since some of our projections haven't necessarily matched up with what has been reality over the last couple of years. So I'm happy to take any questions about any of those updates.
Questions for Dr. Homan? Mr. Cardin?
Just a quick question, because I was just thinking about it. So one of the really odd things about our enrollment data has been the growth at the high school in grades 10, 11, and 12. And I just was wondering if we've been able to do any research or suggest that we can try to do some research into where those kids are coming from.
I have not done, I have not enough to speak to it right now. No. But can look into sort of who are the new enrollees and what do we know about where they're enrolling from. And we've looked at it a little bit. We've had a number come over from Minuteman, but I couldn't speak to percentages, and some other, then move-ins, a number of move-ins at 9th grade. So we can go take a look at that and analyze it some more.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. We'll move to the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the committee so requests, in which event the item will be considered in its normal sequence. Warrant 26097, dated October 28, 2025, for $893,893.12. Warrant 26110, dated 11/11/2025, for $649,716.15. Arlington School Committee draft meeting minutes, October 9, 2025. Arlington School Committee draft meeting minutes, October 23, 2025. I have a motion? Ms. Gittleson?
So moved.
Second by Dr. Allison Ampe. I saw your hand. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is unanimous. Next, our subcommittee reports, announcements, budget. Dr. Allison Ampe.
Pretty much, we had a budget meeting on Monday, welcoming Mr. Schweitzer, and basically we went over the things that the superintendent already discussed at budget, the calendar, the process, and gave some feedback. We will be meeting again next Wednesday to do some more work in preparation for a long-range plan. I think going forward, I'm going to have discussions with the superintendent and Mr. Thielman about, I think there's going to be some stuff related to the upcoming override and some decisions that are being, or some thoughts that are being tossed around about how Arlington will meet its obligations that really should be done by the entire committee. At least you folks should know, and I'm trying to be cognizant of open meeting law. So we'll discuss that and see where we go with that.
Okay. Did you have a date for the subcommittee meeting? No.
Wednesday,
11, 12 at noon.
At noon. Okay. Okay. Maybe I can join remote. Okay. All right, we'll see what we could do there. Okay, next is community relations, Ms. Gittleson.
We have a meeting scheduled for December 5th, and we also have, I think it just got posted this afternoon, or it's in the process, I'm looking at Ms. Diggins, that we have a spot on the Human Rights Commission to fill, asking for applications to be submitted to Ms. Diggins by end of business on December 1st. Our meeting on the 5th will be a broader meeting to talk about community relations plans for the year, and also, depending on how many applicants we get, talk about what the next steps are for the Human Rights Commission.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right. Curriculum instruction, assessment, accountability. Ms. Exton.
We met last Thursday. We got an update from Dr. Janger on the heterogeneous English in 9th grade. And they came with a recommendation to expand heterogeneous English to 10th grade for the next school year. And so at some point, they will be coming to the full committee with that recommendation. And we approved some minutes. That was it.
Okay, questions? Do we have a timing on when they're going to come for the HDI discussion?
Dr. Janker emailed me about that with that exact question today. My initial plan was so we have SQP, we have HDI, and program of studies. Whether we want to do HDI at the first meeting in December with the SQP, or the first meeting in January with the program of studies, I'm not 100% sure. Open to input on that, but was going to discuss with you how we wanted to time those out.
Is there any thoughts on the timing? I'm just concerned we have 2 meetings in December. Yep.
My question is, do we want to do the heterogeneous grouping in advance of the program of studies?
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Because if it's taking place in the same, so, I don't know, what do people think? I'll open it up. Dr. Allison Ampe, you're nodding your head.
He's right. We should do it before we talk about
Yeah.
the program of studies.
I also, I don't know if I didn't make the subcommittee meeting, so I don't know if there's any discussion about a parent forum or did he talk about that? Is that going to happen?
We had not talked about doing that, no.
Okay. Well, I can't speak for everybody in the committee, but that's always a good idea.
Okay.
I mean, you're entitled to that opinion. The subcommittee, it was very specifically that it was going to be sort of a duplication of what's going on in 9th grade. Dr. Homan was very clear it was not any other subject areas at this point. And while there was not a vote or anything, I did ask the subcommittee members if they felt like there needed to be another subcommittee meeting or something else before it came to the full committee. And the subcommittee didn't feel that there needed to be anything further. So
Yeah, I'm not asking another subcommittee.
So I just,
just occurred to
that's
me.
sort of where
Just occurred to me that
we landed.
parent forum is never a bad idea about a curriculum change, but that's, I don't run the school, so.
I can talk to Dr. Janger about it. At the very least, I think notifying families of 9th grade students that this is something we're considering for 10th grade, seeing if there's concern about that or questions that we should answer ahead would be a good idea. If we want to do it before program of studies, then doing that on the same night that we do the secondary SQPs would be a good idea. That'd be the first meeting in December. So we could do first meeting in December, second. I'll talk to Dr. Janger and see what makes sense. The more engagement we put between now and that, the more that might push that out towards when we need to do program of studies. So let me think about it. We have not gotten concern about moving forward with 10th grade ELA, and the teachers are unanimous in their interest in doing this, and we believe the data show that it's a good idea to propose it, so we'd like to do that. But I think you raise a good point about making sure families are aware and have a chance to ask any questions that they have, so I'll talk to
Okay,
them about
or you
it.
don't have to do it, I don't know, it's
Figure out- figure out
my,
timing.
that's my thought, I don't know. All right, well,
Do you have a question?
yeah. Dr. Alessandri.
I think if you're looking for parent feedback, I think actually we should get more than just the parents of ninth graders, because at this point, multiple years have gone through and may have opinions about how, I mean, even if they're not going to do it themselves, even if their children aren't going to do it themselves, may have opinions on whether they think it would have been a good thing or not. And I'd like to hear from them too.
All right, so you'd like to hear from parents. Mr. Carr, did you have your hand up?
No, I just trying to get your attention.
Oh, trying to get my attention.
Dr.
Okay.
Alessandri.
Well, good job on that. You got my attention. Okay. Any other thoughts or comments on this? All right. Facilities. There is absolutely no report on facilities. There are minutes that Ms. Morgan did that, and then I'm going to talk to Dr. Holman in our next check-in about other things we have to work on. And she gave the good news about the Hardy. Mr. Schlickman, policies and procedures.
No report.
Arlington High School Building Committee, all is well. I don't know, is there anything, I mean, and I shouldn't be so glib. The opening ceremony that we had and was just fantastic on the 25th of October in the morning. It was a really nice ceremony, really, really well done by Amy Spear, Dr. Allison Ampe, all the staff in our district who helped out, Joan Roman from the town side. It was just a really, really well done, well organized day. We had a great crowd. And then we had, I don't know the number of visitors we had on that day, do you know?
Over 1,000, but I don't know how many. Over
Okay.
1,000.
Over 1,000. So we had a lot of people come. I think there's a lot of enthusiasm in the town. I ran into a bunch of people at different things over the past different events, sporting and other things. And I ran into a lot of people that were very enthusiastic about what they saw. So congratulations to everybody. It was a great, great moment, really worth celebrating. And then there are, you know, the Arlington High School Building Committee took some votes to use some of the remaining money for some things that are going to happen on the fields and some equipment purchases that'll take place over the next couple of months. The committee is still an active committee, the building committee, and still has duties and responsibilities, including votes on budgets and some final things, final expenditures. We expect to expire sometime in 2026. I don't know how else to frame it.
You're going to expire?
The committee
Speak
will
for
expire.
yourself.
Huh? I mean, I don't
said
know.
speak for yourself.
We, the committee will no longer be in power. No longer, I don't know how to frame it. It's a long day. Liaison reports. Anybody have a liaison report? Any announcements? Any future agenda items? Okay, then we're going to go into executive session. My understanding is we're going to return to take some votes after executive session. All right, and that's all coordinated with Sean. Okay. All right, so motion to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. To discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Can I have a motion? Can someone just move that,
So
please?
moved.
So moved by Ms. Gittleson, second by Dr. Allison Ampe. A roll call. Any discussion? I'm sorry, any discussion? Roll call. Ms. Exton.
Yes?
Mr. Carden.
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Dr. Allison Ampe. Mr. Schlickman.
Yes.
Ms. Gittleson.
Yes.
Mr. Thielman. Okay, we'll return after executive session. Good evening. We are returning from executive session, and now we're prepared to vote on items that we discussed in executive session. 3 different side letters with our collective bargaining unit, and Dr. Holman is going to speak to it.
Yep, so we have 4 MOAs, side letters. These are addendums to agreements with bargaining units. One is extending the benefit for children of educators who do not reside in Arlington as a pooled benefit for AEA members in units A, C, and D. This allows for us, it does not require us, but allows for up to 45 children of educators who work in Arlington to attend school in Arlington, only if there's space in available sections. and allows that for members of our paraprofessional unit and administrative assistant unit, as well as our teacher unit, which is common throughout the state. Second one is a side letter about DEI coursework, which was a provision that we agreed to in not this most recent contract with AAA, but the one before that, requiring educators to have a certain number of hours of coursework in equity and inclusion practices ahead of earning professional teacher status. It took us a little while to get the tracking systems up and running that would allow us to verify participation in that coursework. And so now that's up and running, and the AEA asked for a side letter promising that there wouldn't be ramifications because the administration was still working on getting the tracking system up to date. There's a side letter of agreement pertaining to Unit D and a provision that that was not discussed during bargaining, and there was a mistake made in how the provision pertaining to serious family illness was presented by the union to the school committee. We needed to clear up how we wanted to resolve that because the benefit was not discussed during bargaining, and have agreed to allow for Unit D members to take a serious family illness leave if bedside care is required for a loved one in their immediate family, and that would be reduced from the Unit D sick bank. And finally, there is a side letter acknowledging that we have a attendance provision, a staff attendance provision, that is an incentive to earn an additional personal day in the Unit A contract. They had their first year of trying to hit that 95% mark with there's a number of exceptions and provisions to what counts towards that tally in the agreement. They had their first year of doing that this past year. They reached 94.9%. We decided to round up because we were concerned about errors in some of our data during that first year of the collections process, and wanted to memorialize that roundup is not precedent setting in any way, and that typically this would be a 95% provision, and that we are not guaranteeing that that'll be a roundup in future years as we continue to clean up our data systems. So all of those are for the committee's consideration and vote to approve. Myself or Mr. Thielman, in the event of MOAs, myself in a side letter to sign off on them so that we can move forward.
Okay, why don't we do the one regarding children of our educators first? I'm just going to read the relevant language. Whereas in the spring of 2025, the committee and the association agreed the committee would expand the benefit of allowing some children of AEA members to attend Arlington Public Schools to members of Units C and D. I think the only thing, by the way, in this memorandum, it has my title as doctor, and I'm not a doctor.
Now you are.
We have terminal degrees, I guess, right? Yeah, I know. I don't do that, but.
No.
We don't want anything terminal in this room.
No, some people use that. Okay, so. It is, I know. The three Juris Doctors here, but.
So moved.
So moved. Second by
Second.
Mr. Schlickman. Any discussion on this side letter, and this motion to approve the side letter? I have to do a roll call. Ms. Exton?
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh, we're in a
in
vote.
open session.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote. Okay, we're back to normal here. Okay, the next one is a attendance side letter. I'm going to read the relevant part for the public. Whereas in 2024, the committee and the association agreed to terms allowing Unit A members to earn an additional personal day with strong attendance across the unit. And whereas in the summer of 2024 and throughout the 2024-5 school year, the district worked on improving its approach to attendance data gathering. So this is just a side letter that Dr. Holman just explained. Can I have a motion? A motion by Ms. Gittleson, second by Dr. Allison Empey. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote. Next is the third side letter, DEI coursework. So Dr. Holman just spoke to this. I'll read the relevant part. Whereas in May 22, the committee and the association agreed that educators who commence employment in Unit A with the Arlington Public Schools must complete at least 18 hours of district-approved coursework or professional development about the role of diversity, equity, inclusion, and racial identity in education. Can someone please make that motion to approve this side letter?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Schlickman, second by
Second.
Ms. Exton. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's a unanimous vote. I vote yes. Okay.
We
Am I
have to
missing?
do the fourth one and
Yes, the fourth.
open, right?
Yes, okay, sorry. Thank you, folks, for keeping me honest here. And the fourth one is a side letter of agreement for Unit D. Relevant language, so this relates, as Dr. Holman said, up to 15 days for serious family illness will be granted to Unit D members following a written request by the member and submission of proper documentation. So can I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Exton, second by?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gittleson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I vote yes. It's a unanimous vote. Good? Oh, 8:20, folks.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. That is not debatable.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're done.